how much is too much? So we brought the most scandalous, open, and incredible group of people together to discuss a couple of crazy things. So let's just go down the line and everyone introduce themselves.
Who you want to start, Chris?
Yeah, we'll start at this end. My name is Chris Ballinger. I run the channel Ballinger Family with my wife Jessica, and I'm also an executive producer on a Netflix show called Haters.com.
Ooh, good show.
Oh my god, I've lost my voice, it's so bad. I have lost my voice at the moment, so bear with me, guys. My name is Sammy Firth, and I'm from a streaming app called Live Me. I'm a broadcaster, and I pretty much do everything, literally. There's no limits at all, basically. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I do YouTube, and I'm very scandalous, so it's all out there now.
Hi, I'm Allison. I'm one half of the channel Just Between Us, and it's scripted content,
So no controversy ever. I'm Gabby, and I'm the other half of Just Between Us, and then yeah, it's a comedy channel, Odd Couple.
Everyone knows who these people are, right? Let's just get right down to it. Since this is talking about how much is too much, I just want to get a quick flip from each of you. Have you ever put something out there that you thought was too much?
I've been told to take it down. Yeah.
Can you tell us what it was?
Well, sometimes I'll ask permission. Well, what's happening now is like if my parents say anything and I laugh, they go, "Don't tweet them."
But they're so funny.
They're so funny. But I had an incident with an ex-boyfriend where I like wanted to make this joke about his ex-girlfriend, and in his defense, I did name her by name, and then he was like, "You can't do that."
Yeah, similar, I think, like, for me, relationship stuff, definitely. But part of me is like, because you're so used to talking about yourself that you forget that this person isn't an extension of you, they're another person.
They have feelings.
Like, I mean, debatable, but sometimes, yeah, they do. So it's like, definitely, I think the most thing that comes to mind is just relationship stuff.
How about you guys?
I've gotten a few cease and desists.
Have you?
Yeah, I actually just got one like a couple weeks ago. I had to private one of my videos.
Can you talk about which one?
The Sugar Baby one.
Mic up, whoever, sound person?
What?
Wait, sorry.
Who did it?
I did a video on a Sugar Baby website that I got like tricked into advertising, and then they sent me a cease and desist with the contract that I originally signed, and I had breached like 28 points of the contract. So they were like, there was no fighting it. Normally I'll try to fight it and I'll find a loophole of like, I can do this because freedom of speech and reviews, but no, I like very explicitly really broke that contract, so they could have sued me for a lot of money if they did it. So thank you guys. Here's hoping they don't still. They could, I don't know. Could be building a case.
How about you, Sammy? Wow, this
Wait, Gabby, they tricked you?
Okay.
No, all right.
Gabby, don't talk about it.
Sammy, what about you?
I totally agree with the relationship stuff. Like, if my ex-boyfriend was to go live and talk about me, I'm like straight on that broadcast, and I'm like ripping the shreds, but then I regret it afterwards, and I'm like, probably could have responded better, like to hate comments, like, I'm very emotional, so I'll be like, no, and then I like afterwards I'll be like, I definitely should have sat back, evaluated the situation and responded better. So definitely with relationships, friendships as well, like if my friend's gonna go live and expose me for something, I'm like, I'm gonna have my say too.
Okay. No. But we're like a family vlogging channel, so we are very like, we try and keep it really clean, and our goal is that our kids can watch it afterward, and we're really careful with stuff. So I haven't posted anything that I regret. That being said, people still find a way to be offended by things that we post. So it's like, you're still gonna get those comments of like, take this down, or how dare you, even when you're trying your best to just be like, straight edge.
Well, that brings me to my next question is about trolls and comments. And do you guys engage? Do you respond? How do you guys deal with people who feel like you owe them something because you put so much of yourself out there?
I'm the
queen of not responding to haters. I used to be so bad at it, especially in the Vine days, because everybody blew up so quickly on Vine. So it was so easy to get really hot-headed because we didn't even grow into it. So it was like I woke up and I had like 25,000 followers on Vine one day, and I'm just like fighting with everybody who hates me. And now I just ignore literally everything. Like, you guys never see me in the drama. I'm always in drama, but I'm not responding, usually. Well, sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard to, it was just thinking about a friend of mine who got out of a relationship, got into a new relationship, and her fans are asking a lot of questions about it, and I was sort of like, how? They don't know you. Like, it's so weird, like, but I guess they feel like they're following you as like a TV show, like you're almost a character, not a person. So I've definitely had some weirdness where I'm like, well, I don't want people hating on like aspects of my life that they don't have 100% of the information about. Like there's, you know, what you present is very curated, especially on our channel. It's a lot of like scripted or stuff that we edit very specifically, and so I think it's a lot of people reacting as if they have the full story when they don't have the full story. What do you say?
How about you guys?
My wife was talking about this morning about how like she'll get worked up and type out a whole response and look at it and then go delete, 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 and finds that somewhat therapeutic. So it's like she gets to respond with that.
I do that with my ex. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Like, I'll write something in my notes and like, all right, I feel good that I said it. We're gonna keep it there.
Yeah, exactly. So we used to respond to stuff, especially when we thought there was like a lesson to be learned there. Like, oh, I'm going to teach this person, but some people are just trolling and they're not going to learn a lesson, and so it's best not to say anything.
Yeah, and they want the response, maybe.
Yeah.
I agree with typing it and then deleting it.
A lot of times they just want the attention of you too, right? Like if you respond and then they go like, oh my gosh, I love your stuff. You're like, wait a minute, 2 minutes ago you were just calling me a deplorable, disgusting, whatever.
Yeah.
But they just want your attention. Sammy, what about you? You do a ton of live stuff. So how do you censor yourself? How do you not make mistakes, essentially?
So I make a lot of mistakes. That's the start. Basically, it's honestly about what mood I'm in, definitely, because I'm learning. I'm so new to social media, so if I'm in a bad mood and someone comes in my stream and like says something about my face, I'm like, all right, I'm like really savage sometimes, but then sometimes I'll just ignore it, and like sometimes I'll have my dad literally message me and be like, Sammy, don't even look at it, like ignore it, calm down, and I'm like trying to breathe. And on my app we have admins. So I've got like about 5 admins that are just on it, and sometimes I don't even see it, and all of a sudden they're gone, and I never ever saw it, so it's gone. And I actually watched the Gabby show, who has taught me how to deal with it by just straight up ignoring them, so thank you, Gabby.
Yeah, it doesn't even occur to me to respond.
Right.
Like I would never respond. And what's really funny is that like there's so many like things like stupid Jews, or like you're ugly, or you're so dumb and I hate your voice. And I'm like, okay, and then it's like this sketch actually was less funny than the last sketch, and I'm like, no.
Chris, I wanted to ask you about, since you do family vlogging, there's been a ton of controversy around like the last year or so with, you know, exploiting your kids and yada yada. How do you A, handle that, and B, do you ever feel like, and this also is for you guys, do you ever feel like you have to be a voice for an entire genre of thing? So do people come to you and ask you questions and you feel like you have to speak on the behalf of family vlogging, or for you guys like on behalf of all bisexuals, or like how do you guys deal with that?
Are we bisexual?
Oh, did I just out us? I didn't.
She didn't.
So I don't ever feel like I have to speak on behalf of family vlogging or defend it. There are controversies that come out, and my whole thing has always been that I'm a dad first and a vlogger second, and I feel like you're gonna get in trouble if you look at it any other way. And so my kids always come first, and my wife, and that's just how I look at life. And I feel like if I did anything different than that, it wouldn't be genuine. People wouldn't want to watch it anyway, and it keeps me out of trouble. But I don't have like thoughts of stuff that would get me into trouble. I try and really stay focused on my wife and my kids, and by doing that, there's never a problem.
You have the good intention of
Yeah,
kids
exactly.
first that always comes.
Exactly. And so if that means the vlog suffers or some other project I'm working on suffers,
So be it.
that happens.
What about you guys? Do you ever feel like you have to speak on behalf of an entire group or entity of people because you are so sane?
Well, I think, thank you, Kelsey. I feel like sometimes, because I have the luxury of being so privileged, like I have the luxury of being in a job where I won't be fired for being LGBTQ, and I have the luxury of being in like a community where I'm not going to be like ostracized for being polyamorous or whatever, all these various groups that I represent. And so because I can be loud about it and there won't be any consequences to me, then I feel like I should be, because there are so many people in the world who are like still in the closet or watching our videos from, you know, feeling a place of feeling very bad about themselves or isolated in some country or community where they can't speak about these things. And then, so I feel like if it's safe for me to do it, then I should do it. Which does lead to some sort of like, you know, weird martyr like thing of being like, oh, I'm the one who talks about this. But also, if I can, then I feel like I should.
How are you a martyr?
Just like because no, not, you know, like you're seen as like the person that's like, I don't know.
Like you should have
it gives
an
you
opinion.
it gives you too much like power of representation because there's not many other ones.
Okay. There's no other LGBT people on YouTube?
There are, but I'm saying there's like, that's why a lot of us have this thing where we feel like we have to represent our group, our specific LGBTQ whatever, we have to represent that like so specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like, oh, like I'm representing like one specific group, although I guess it would be the mentally ill. But I do feel like, again, like it's like there is an obligation to make sure that it's always kind of a part of the content and always like something that we talk about. Not every sketch, not everything, but that it's, you know, because I think that normalizing like queerness and mental health is just like our underlying theme of the channel, more so than like representing those, like the face of those communities, just like making it clear that those communities exist, that we're a part of them, and that like.
But that's not what the show's about.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the show's about.
It's us living our truth, Allison. We have to live our truth.
Yeah.
Now, how many of you guys have written books or are having books come out? I haven't either, so I don't feel bad. Is there anything you put in there and then either someone else pointed out, oh, are you sure you want to say this? Or you had someone else run by, and did you ever have to stand up for a reason why you wanted to include something?
Our book is fiction, so.
But it's based on your friendship.
Yeah, it's kind of like, there's stuff about my family in there that I think I had to sort of run by them. But, because my dad was an alcoholic when I was growing up, and we've talked about that, and he talks about it. I'm not like outing him. He's involved in AA, and he writes about it and stuff. So he's very big in the sobriety community, so I'm not like telling you guys something he wouldn't tell you. But there is like some specific stuff about when he was drinking that went in the book, that my character's father does. And so I didn't realize that people would think, I knew they would think it was us, but someone recently asked us like, oh, did your dad really crash his car into the giant menorah in front of your synagogue? And I was like, I should have ran that by him probably before I included that very specific reference in the book.
I guess, yeah, the concern is that even though it's a novel and even though it's fiction, like people will think everything is true.
It's true.
And so like that's an interesting thing for us because our stuff is a lot, like half our channel is just pure scripted content, but a lot of people think it's all real. And so like my grandma like reading the book with like, you know, like sex scenes in it, I wanted to be like, Grandma, like that's fictional. Also, you don't have to read it, you know?
Grandma, I'm a virgin.
Yeah.
What about you, Gabby? The other Gabby.
I ran a lot of stuff by my sister, and since it's a poetry book, you can get away with a lot more because it's poetry and you can interpret it and stuff. But I'm always worried about the way I come off in writing. So I would send something to my sister, and I'm just like, is this going to offend like really, really religious people? Is this going to offend grandma? Is this like going to make people think that I'm ungrateful for the life that I've been given? Things like that. But for the most part, I tried to stay as honest as I could without being blatantly offensive for shock value. And I think that's something that a lot of comedians kind of come out the gate with, is like, shock value. I'm gonna really scare them. And I hate to say it, but a lot of females start doing that, which I think we're steering away from, thank God. Because a lot of women were just like, I need to get noticed, and now we're finally being recognized as not female comedians and just comedians. So I think that we're getting away from all of that stuff and just kind of saying what we want without being. I love how, I think it was Judd Apatow said it about Bo Burnham, and he said something about like, vulgarity, not for the sake of vulgarity, but for beauty or something like that. And I think that's kind of what I did a lot in my book, where I was like, is this just vulgar, or is this vulgar with a purpose? Does that answer a question?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
No, I mean it's true, like shock value, right? Like a lot of people think that it's clickbait essentially. So how do you have meaning, and how do you always build off of the last shocking thing you've done?
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
Well, I kind of ghost wrote a book. Like, it's not a book about being a dad. Or
You wrote self-help?
I co-wrote it with her.
Oh wait, I was joking.
No, I did all the design work for it, and I did.
Is that offense?
No, I did. I'm on the dust jacket,
Okay, cool.
but only in America. The UK, there's no dust jacket, so I don't exist. But yeah, I wrote it with her. We spent a year working on that book together, and it's just absurd. So I don't know. I guess there's one page in it where she just wanted to tape a female product on the page, and I was like, well, I wanted my kids to read the book,
Like a tampon?
One of those things, yes.
Oh, those things, the tampon thing.
That one.
You can
yes.
say tampon.
Tampon!
Yeah, right. Anyway,
I think it was a maxi pad, actually.
it was both.
Oh,
Yeah. But
okay.
that was the one page that we argued about. Because she just wanted to tape it in there, and I wanted, if it was going to be in there, I wanted it to have meaning behind it and have something, some joke, something. So, yeah.
I think my biggest fear with my book that's coming out, Pre-Order Adult Lessons, is out September 19th. Hi. And my biggest fear is that a lot of comments on YouTuber books are from parents saying this wasn't appropriate for my child kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, I am a 26-year-old woman, and I'm writing about experiences of my life up into a 26-year-old woman. So there are things in there that may not be suitable for a child, but I also wrote it in a sense that nothing, again, is there just vulgarity for vulgarity, and I think even a child can read it, and even if it says fuck in it, it has a purpose. Sorry, children, don't order my book if you can't say the F word. No, I'm just kidding, please order it.
So you guys all talk, Chris, this may not apply to you because you're married, but do you guys ever fear, my biggest fear is that if you Google my name, the first thing that's going to come up is a video I did where it was I'm bipolar but I'm not, or a mental health video that I did, or where I tried medical marijuana. Are you ever afraid of either maybe Chris, this applies to you, where you're getting involved with a brand or a company and you're afraid of what they're going to see, or even a relationship where you're afraid the first thing someone does, we all do it, right? The first thing we do is we internet stalk them. Are you afraid of anything that's going to come up? Jesus, Gabby, what was that?
It pooped out my phone. I'm so
So the answer to her question is no, she's not embarrassed by anything.
It was a very weird feeling. I think a lot of people that I get in relationships with are also in entertainment, so that seems fine. And also with brands, it's if they don't get it, they're not going to get it. Our whole channel is sort of on its own wavelength. But also, the only thing that worries me is people thinking that is me. So they see one video of you about one aspect of your life, like bipolar or whatever, and they think that they know you, and that's the whole thing. Or they'll go into dating you, and when you don't live up to the expectation of what they've seen, suddenly they're like, but that's not Gabby. I'm like, you don't know Gabby. You haven't met me. So there's been a few Tinder things where people have been like, I know you from, I actually love your videos. I'm like, unmatched. How can I ever, I'm just going to disappoint that person.
I feel like people are pleasantly surprised when they get to know me. I'm actually going to do that right now, where I'm I'm just very recently started seeing someone, and he was like, yeah, last night I watched 3 of your videos.
Oh, that's so scary.
And I was like,
And you're like, which 3?
Yeah, exactly. But I also am at a place where I'm like, if that person can't handle what I've talked about and doesn't understand that it's a heightened version of me, then it's sort of a great way to weed through people.
Yeah. I think dating is so hard for internet personalities. It's because you either aren't in it and you will never get it, or you're in it and you don't want to date somebody who's in it. That's how I see it. But there's also a lot of stuff on the internet that I definitely wish I could erase. Because the thing with me that upsets me is I have so many accomplishments and things that I did that I wish when you Googled it, like, that came up. But the stuff that will always pop to the top of the search engine is some dumb rumor or scandal or article. And there's not really content that I produce. The only thing that I produce, but I'm like, I wish that didn't happen because it was taken so far out of context that it doesn't even make sense. But one of my first viral videos was a remake. Do you know Eric Dunn? Yeah. Okay, you know exactly what video I'm talking about if you're just out of your head, where he did the Baby Daddy, or I did the Baby Daddies video.
Wait, for people who don't know.
Okay, this sounds offensive, I swear to God it was. It was a joke between me and my friend Eric before I had followers, but my friend Eric did a video making fun of racism where he took off his shirt and ran, and he said, "Ha, I love running through white people's neighborhoods with my shirt off," and he was like, "I'm gonna steal all your shit," and it's funny just because he was like making fun of the fact that white people are scared of black people, and then I, as one of his best friends, just made a response saying like, "I love running through black neighborhoods with my shirt off, I'm gonna steal all your babies' daddies," and it was like offensive, but it wasn't at the time because of the context that it came from. But if you Google me and all you see is me running in a sports bra saying I'm going to steal your baby daddies, it doesn't look very good on me.
Can you delete it?
That video is world star hip hop. Like,
If you delete it, it gets more attention, I feel like. If you delete something, then people are like, it's deleted, now it's scandalous, and I want to find it.
And the thing is, in the context of like the time that it was being made and Vine humor and people who knew me and Eric's relationship, it was fine. But now, 45 years later, looking at me, it just looks like I'm disrespecting like that lifestyle, and it's, God, I hate it. And people, they still walk up to me, they're like, "Oh my God, you're gonna steal my baby daddy." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm so much more. I'm still a man in my life."
What about you, Sammy and Chris?
Because I'm on a live streaming app, it's all on an app, so I'm not at the point where people will search my name on Google and find some like controversial stuff. I just started YouTube, so I'm very new to all that. However, there is the record option on the app, and people can record you at your most vulnerable time, and they'll capture things that you didn't even realize that you were doing at the time, and they'll just whip them out, and they'll say, "Oh, look, like if you don't give me this, I'm going to expose it." I'm like, "Wait, I did that on live anyway," but you're still like, "Oh my gosh." And they show it in a negative light. So I was broadcasting once for a show, and I did an impersonation of someone getting gifts, and in Australia, racism is just like not even a thing. Like we don't, it's just, you know, it's just not a thing that is big, you know, not everyone's racist. And I was on stream, and one of the bigger broadcasters came across my screen and said, "That was very racist," and the entire chat just was like, "Oh my God, she's racist." Like, and it just changed everyone's opinion just because another big broadcaster was like, "Oh my God, they said she's racist, so maybe that was racist." And they didn't think it was, but it just changed, and that was terrifying. It was a featured show, so I was in front of the whole app, so that stuff's really scary for me, yeah.
I can speak to the brand side of that.
Please do.
I think that if you have brands in the back of your mind when you're making videos, you're probably doing it for the wrong reasons, and staying true to yourself and to what you believe in is really important, and making sure that you have priorities in mind that are yours and not somebody else's.
That's true. So being at BuzzFeed, I'm known as like the token bisexual. So anytime someone has a question about bisexuality, I'm the first person they go to. Or if there's an alcohol video, they're like, "Kelsey will do it." Do you guys ever feel like because you've put so much of yourself out there, you become sort of tokenized in a way? And have you ever turned down a job based on something maybe that you've talked about in the past?
Yeah, sort of, but I've been using that to my advantage. I get a lot of, just like, frankly, I get a lot of stuff based on the queer community, and like, so I get to like cover stuff for the Advocate, and I get to go and do things like at A Camp, and like I get to do all of these opportunities that are so awesome because I've made my brand clear. I've like put myself out there as like someone who talks about these things, and then I get the returns of like, the best part about maybe sharing quote unquote too much is that these people would know that you're one of them, and then they can, the returns are so great because they'll boost you up once they realize that you're like part of their group, which is very nice.
exactly what my niche is, but it hasn't really paid off for me yet. But I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, I went to the White House. I went to the White House for my sexuality briefing, and Allison's parents were like, "Oh, why didn't you get to go?" She's like, "Well, I'm straight." And they were like, "Yeah, but don't they have like a crazy day for crazy people?"
This is actually kind of interesting that reminded me of is I'm not always the most appropriate on my channel, but I'm not super inappropriate either. But I talk about some like dating, and like one time this celebrity said I was pregnant with this baby. It was like just things that are kind of whatever. But the only videos that got demonetized on my channel were the ones where I talked about my eating disorder, my depression, and somebody I knew who committed suicide. And those are the only 3 on my channel that were taken brands took away the advertising on.
How does that make you feel? What do you do?
It's just, there's nothing you can do. It's not like, you could appeal it, but like if a brand doesn't want to advertise on it, they're not going to advertise on it. But my underlying thing of my channel is I'm not focused on like, this is what's going on, but I try so hard to normalize therapy and just being okay with talking about it. And that's the thing that makes me feel so good is if I get an email saying like, I was so embarrassed to go to therapy, now I'm in therapy and I feel great. And I think it's so important. So the fact that a brand would look at it and see like, oh, here's this girl being vulnerable, talking about how she's been spitting out her food for a year and a half. Let's not put an ad on that because that doesn't represent Toyota. But like you could put it on my story where I'm talking about the time I hallucinated on edibles. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Does that make you feel like you don't stop doing the videos you want to do just because they're not brand safe?
Absolutely not. Like I make my living the way I make my living, and if I lose monetization on a video, it's fine because it's like Chris was saying, if you're doing it for money and if you're doing it for recognition or brand deals, then it's not going to be authentic anyways. And if I don't get paid one week because a bunch of kids are going to start eating food again, that's okay. It's fine.
Amen.
Brands, man.
Yeah, you can clap for that. That was a good answer.
Yeah, I'm not at that point yet. So, like Allison said, I'm ready for it though. Like, it hasn't come up yet, so yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're really fortunate that like the things that we choose to put online line up with brands typically, but it's not something that we're thinking about. It's more about like our family and sharing that and getting to enjoy it later. So.
Do you share like the hard times?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Is that therapeutic at all for the family?
I don't know if it's therapeutic. I know that it shows real life to our audience, and it shows that like it's not happy-go-lucky all the time. It can't be, and that's part of growing and learning and being a human being, and it's part of our journey. And I think that's important to share from time to time, even when you are portrayed as this like happy-go-lucky family.
Right.
That there are times when you just don't feel right, and you don't, and times when your kids can't do things because they have a consequence. Or I think that is important to show and share and include our audience that's going along this journey with us because they deal with those things as well.
Going down the line, what would you say is the biggest, for yourselves or maybe for a channel if it's you guys, is the biggest misconception, and how do you combat that misconception? Sorry, that was loaded. We just got real over here.
Yeah. Misconception on what do you mean?
How do you battle it? How do you...
Like misconception of who we are as people?
Yes, like, or your channel, because I feel like because all of you guys put everything out there, do people think one certain thing of you? Again, like we were talking when you Google you, right? Like the one thing that comes up. How do you battle that, or do you battle it? How do you stay strong when so many people might think this one thing about you it represents your entire family, your entire self, your entire brand?
That's something, I talk too much.
The what? Oh,
It's a panel. You're supposed to talk.
happy to listen to you. I think there's people sometimes come at me with a combativeness that I don't match. Like I'm a feminist and I talk about feminism and I talk about the LGBT community and all these things, and I think like there's this idea that you are just ready to fight at any time, like that they'll come to the channel and be like, and like the video could be like about her dog, and it would be like, all right, feminazi, explain feminism to me. Like, this is a video about a dog. Like, what are we doing? Do you want the dog to explain it? Like, I don't. And so I think that there's this idea that like there's no middle ground, or you're not reasonable, or you're not like a person that can have a conversation. You're just kind of like a robot that spits out like whatever type of, like, I don't know, it's very weird. It's like they saw something, got angry, and it was something maybe that I filmed like a year ago, and then they're like ready to talk about it now, so they think you are ready to talk about it now. And so they want to like this video that you don't even remember making. Why this? I'm like, oh man, I have to go back and look. Like, I have no idea. So I think, but also like a lot of times someone will be like, well, what about this aspect of feminism? And I'll be like, yeah. And they were expecting a fight, and I'm like, no, yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And they're like, I'm confused because I had so much anger when I got here. So it's this weird thing of thinking that, because we are like heightened versions of ourselves. We're caricatures. So there's this weird thing that like the caricature must be the real you. And it's not, I mean, obviously on the channel, it's not as interesting if we just go, sure, that wouldn't be a sketch.
Right.
The thing that upsets me, though, you are.
It's just because she said go down the line. I just. Yeah, I mean, I would say that all the misconceptions are our own doing, you know, because we are creating characters. And part of having an odd couple channel is having, you know, it be very strong opposites. And so that is just not true. Like, I think that the two things that stick out to me the most that aren't true is that, like, Gabby is actually more insecure than I am. And which you wouldn't know that, but I think you are.
I thought you were going to say romantic, that I'm more romantic.
Yeah, and just really insecure.
Ladies.
Like, this is an act of pure bravado. Not what she's like.
This is bravado, ladies.
And so I think that that's, you know, an interesting thing that we play with. And I think also that, like, you know, my character has, like, a fear of sexuality, which is, like, not true, but, like, I think part of it is to, you know, kind of explore how that's, like, maybe not the best thing to have. Just, you know, because sometimes you need a character who's, like, flawed to be like, oh, that's a silly way to think, which is a lot of what we do on our channel.
Gabby's turn.
Are you sure?
I was thinking about.
The thing that bugs me, it's like the biggest thing that upsets me in my life, I think, at this moment, is you guys know about like the Reddit thing with me? I don't know how many of you are like, all right.
For those who don't know, could you please explain?
Yeah,
I want to know.
Like was it a year and a half ago maybe? Somebody who, I don't know how it happened, but just decided that he wanted to ruin my career one day, and he made a video and put it on Reddit, and somebody put it to #1 on Reddit. So it was somebody on Reddit, because the video had like 100 views, it was #1 on Reddit, that I was a joke thief. And he found these tweets that were like such a stretch that like he just put them back to back to back to back, where like in 2012 Bo Burnham tweeted, I forgot about the Titans, and then in 2015 I tweeted, fuck, I keep forgetting the Titans, and like, she steals jokes, which is such a stretch, but when you put it back to back to back to back to back, it's like, she steals jokes, you know what I mean? Like, if I watched it, I would also say I steal jokes. But now, like, I survived it because I think anybody who's already a fan of me is like, that's really weird and not who she is. But so many people saw that video, and that's one of the still highest search results for me, is the Gabby Show steals jokes, and is one of the top articles is Gabby Show caught stealing jokes. That if you've never seen my comedy, if you've never seen my work, if you've never seen what I stand for, there's millions on millions of people out there who hear my name and instantly will just be like, oh, that's that bitch that steals jokes. Like, I get that comment all the time if I collab with my friend. They're like, oh my god, is it that big-nosed bitch who steals jokes? And it just sucks because like I've created so much content, and I do hours of stand-up, and I have 300 YouTube videos, and I vlog daily, and I had 800 vines, and I have all this original content that I'm so proud of. But because there were a few tweets that kind of mimicked other comedians' tweets, I will be labeled as a joke thief, which is the worst thing you can be in the comedy world. Sad. Okay. Nobody's making sense.
I was thinking that it would be great if you had merch that said "Big Nose Bitch Who Steals Jokes."
Absolutely wonderful.
Brandon.
Lean in. Yeah.
What about you, Sammy?
It's definitely like when people take something and turn it out of context, and then they make it like so much bigger than it is. Especially when like on my app, broadcasters love to go live. If someone's above them in a competition, like try and dethrone them and all this stuff. And then as influencers, if we say something and our fans love us so much, they listen to anything we say. You could literally be lying to them and they will still listen to you because they love you and they've trusted everything you do, and my fans trust me. And so going back to the racist comment, just changed the entire stream, and it was so blown out of proportion and I wasn't ready for it. And I've just come to the conclusion now from growing over because I've only been in social media for like 10 months now. So growing, I just have learned to just realize that, we're not everyone's person.
When they called you a racist in the stream, what was your immediate reaction?
I just froze. And I was with my ex-boyfriend. I was with him at the time, and I just froze. And he's big in social media, so he came over and kind of took over the stream, and I was just in shock because the broadcaster was my friend. I was like, but it was really funny because there was a competition going on. He went live, and everyone went there to see his reaction. Oh my gosh, you just called out Sammy on a stream, and everyone went over and he ended up winning the competition. So I feel like it was a good play in his touche. I gave it to, we are friends now, we've come over, but it happens all the time on live broadcasting apps. Everyone's they see you at the feature board, so they're let's go in and pull a publicity stunt or something. They may not mean it, but oh my gosh, the fans will just go crazy. They did not think that it was racist until someone big was that was racist, so it just changed everything. And it's scary, as someone who's so new to that, I'm a preschool teacher, I'm innocent, this is crazy. So that's definitely the craziest stuff that happens to me, and that's how I get over it. I'm just you know what, my dad pep talks.
And then you stayed friends with that person?
I did. I just don't have time to hate everyone.
Touche, you won the contest.
And you won, cool, came and gave me a couple of gifts to say sorry. I was you can't buy it back, but we're civil now. So yeah, we got over our issues. That was a while back, but yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff that goes down sometimes.
I mean, we're pretty fortunate that I don't think there's a whole lot that we get misconceived. I mean, there's a lot of little things along the way, but none of it really bothers us because we know the truth about who we are and we're comfortable with that. So we homeschool our kids. Sometimes we get criticism for that because they think they know what that looks like, what it should look like. And I guess sometimes people, I end up looking like super dad on the channel sometimes because I want to give my wife a break, and so I take the camera, I do something fun with the kids, and it's just me and the kids, and they're where's that wife? What is she doing? This dad's doing everything all on his own. It's not true. That kind of bothers me a little bit because I know my wife's been up all night with an infant and dealing with that, and so she wasn't going to be in the vlog that day. But other than
that just comes from misogyny.
Yeah.
That just comes from expectation.
No, I completely agree. I completely agree with you. I think that it's wrong, and I get upset about it. And
how do you battle that, or how do you rectify it?
I can talk about it in the vlog, but it's just sort of it's ingrained in people, and I do discuss it, and I do my wife's amazing. She does so much for our channel and for our kids, and I would like her to get all the credit that she deserves.
I mean, she had the kids. She
chill out.
All of the credit.
I was there. It's very impressive.
So we have about 20 minutes left, so we do want to open it up to about 15 minutes of questions with you guys. So while you're thinking of some questions, and we'll pass around a microphone, I want to ask one last question to you guys. Is there anything you absolutely will not do, talk about, or say, since it's the panel, how much is too much? How much is too much?
Wow, this is my favorite game show, Kelsey. How much is too much? I think now, I think just naming names of people in a negative light, I think I wouldn't do. I've done that in the past, and I don't know that I would ever do that again. And also, because I don't know, maybe I've just gotten old and tired, where I'm just I don't know, people are gonna mess up and be terrible, and c'est la vie, what are you gonna do? And then also, becoming a little like weirder about relationship stuff, a little squirrelier.
Yeah. Are you looking at me to see if it's true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely it's not fun to go through your Instagram and delete photos of your ex.
Or to get comments like 9 months later, be like, what happened to that guy?
Exactly. Or like, is that the same guy? No, I just have a type, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think I'll probably hold off on that part of my, until ring on the finger. And then, yeah, I mean, I definitely try to keep my content like PG-13. I don't think I would go over into Gabby territory. And then, yeah, just like probably some stuff like about my grandma.
Oh, my grandma loves to be tweeted about.
Sometimes I tweet about my grandma, but
Yeah, certain family members who want to be included. You can also ask. Like, you can ask people if you're going to talk about them. You can ask if it's okay.
How about you?
I generally don't touch politics with 100-foot pole, just because I feel like in so many facets I'm so uneducated, and I don't like to speak about things that I'm not 100% sure about, and I just like don't understand so many things about like economics and shit that like I don't say stuff. Like, I make fun of Trump a lot because he's weird and gross, but like as far as like so many like policies and what we should be doing with like money and stuff, I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to talk about it.
This is a hard question for me now. I basically think that I agree with you guys so much, like on the whole like naming people. That's where I've gone so wrong in the past. As soon as you name someone and you bring their name into it, it's just like, oh, everyone just like throws like lawsuits at you in America. Like, I'm like, what?
One thing you love
like, you're gonna sue me like,
donuts and lawsuits.
I'll tell you all about the slander rules, and I know about it. I've researched, I know, I've talked to lawyers, I'll tell you how to get away with it.
Like all of my ex-boyfriends want to sue me, like, and I'm like, wow, I can't do it. Like, please don't sue me. Yeah, so definitely naming people. I definitely will draw the line at trying to avoid the hateful stuff. I try and be a positive influence to my fans. And my app is a child-friendly app. We range from like 8-year-olds. Like, why is an 8-year-old on a phone anyway? But 8 up to like 60. Like, we have like elderly people on the app, and like I try and keep my streams as friendly as possible for everyone. I wear sweatshirts and sweatpants on this app. Like, I'm like, I look gross when I go live, but Live Me has an amazing beauty filter. So like, if you want to go live and you're not feeling confident about yourself, you can, because this thing makes you look amazing. But yeah, so that's probably where I draw the line.
For me, since I have my kids on my channel, I always have them in the future in mind. And so if I'm posting something and it's going to embarrass them when they're in high school, I won't post it. And that's kind of been a rule of thumb. And I also have been, I want them to be able to watch it as well. So even when I have other people on my channel, I kind of keep it G with them as well, just because I'm doing it for me and my kids more so than anyone else, and I want them to be able to enjoy it. So that's kind of our rule of thumb.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to open it up to you guys. If you have a question, raise your hand. I saw yours first. There's a girl in the white shirt. So can you say your name, where you're from, and if you had to be a type of cheese, what cheese would you be?
Oh my goodness. My name is Amara. I'm originally from Moscow. I'm from Pasadena now. And I would be sharp cheddar, maybe. It's like maybe wishful thinking. I am wondering if you guys think back to when you started out in social media and compared to now, if you could talk about maybe how your outlooks on privacy and on what you share were different then and why they've changed maybe now.
It's trial and error, I think. You learn as you go. You definitely learn as you go. Starting like when I started, I definitely have learned so much. Like, I've learned like definitely not to go live when you have had something to drink. Definitely don't do that. That's not something you should do. Don't go live when you're really, really emotional. And but sometimes going live when you're emotional is really good because your fans are there to cheer you up. But you just kind of have to learn from your mistakes, I guess, and learn as you go.
When I first got Twitter, I didn't know what Twitter was, and I thought it was exclusively for tweeting at celebrities. So I was one of those accounts that was just like at Paul F. Tompkins, like at Jimmy Fallon, whatever, like, and it would just be me tweeting at them. And now you see those accounts, and you're like, what is wrong with this person? But that was like me in the beginning. So a lot of times I've had to go back. Sometimes I'll remember and I'll go back and like delete tweets that make me seem like a not cool person.
Girl, the Time Hub, it will show you everything you've said for the past 10 years on every social media. Then you can search.
Why would I ever want that?
Because you can delete that shit. Time Hub.
Yeah, it's like it's also like you grow in your opinion. So like if I'll remember something, like I'll go back and be like, I didn't know what this site was for. Like there was no filter. People were just tweeting like eating fries, and like that was Twitter. And like nobody was. Now it's so funny. Like I feel like Twitter when it started was like eating fries with my friends, and now Twitter is like the resistance. But yeah, you just use things different because the app was new too. So you just use the different technologies differently.
Yeah, I guess I kind of was very late to the social media game and sort of only started once, like, I got Instagram maybe like a month before I started working at BuzzFeed.
I forced you.
Yeah. And I think for me it's always just been a part of my work and not something that's like really personal for me. So if anything, it's just like something I think about less because like the growth has stopped. And now it's just like, okay, I should post every once in a while, and but I think because
you
it was
about your tweets, your jokes are very good.
I love my jokes.
Allison's Twitter's lit. Y'all should follow
Oh
her.
yeah,
She's
follow
funny.
that Allison Raskin. It's lit over there.
That's all I care about.
Now I'm mostly focused on my dog's Instagram is my answer of how I've changed.
I was really ignorant and very arrogant for a very long time, and I think a lot of Viners were very, very arrogant because it was like I was saying earlier, we got so much so quickly, and most of us were losers our entire lives, and all of a sudden we're like, oh wow, like I had no friends in college and high school, and now I have like 1 million followers, and I'm so cool. And I read some of those tweets, time off, I'm telling you, and I cringed so hard, and I've grown so much as a person, as much as I've had all of these like really like crazy like scandals and people trying to knock me down. Every single time I was like, I think I needed to be knocked down that peg. And actually my very brief residency with BuzzFeed, because I know that you left BuzzFeed a while ago and you're still at BuzzFeed. I had a brief residency with BuzzFeed and I learned so much in that like 2-month period just from working in a corporate setting, which isn't for me, but just learning like, oh, like this is offensive, like you can't say this, and like this is how the world feels about this, and there's this side of the world. And I was so ignorant about like LGBTQ. I knew nothing about it, and just different cultures and what cultural appropriation was, and I was just very sheltered. There were no Jewish people in my town. There were no Korean or Asian or anyone. It was you were white or you were black. I grew up thinking Mexican people were considered black. Like that's how, and Asian people were white. That's how sheltered my town was. So I look at that shit and like, that's embarrassing. I can't believe that's what my hometown is. But then you grow up, and I'm thankfully somebody who can speak to people that were me when I was 18 years old.
I would be brie cheese, so just getting that answer.
Good choice.
When I started doing my own personal YouTube channel, I had just come out of a career as a magician, so like...
I knew you were a magician. Sorry, I remembered.
So that...
Do a trick.
My career, I was very career-minded, and like being a magician was who I was, and that was like what I started my channel with. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna treat this like a business. I'm gonna do collabs every week. I'm gonna do this and that. And as time went on, I realized that what's really important to me is my kids and my wife, and so the channel shifted as my priorities shifted, and as I found that I could spend more time with my kids and my wife and treat it as a job as well. Like I could have both at the same time with this by vlogging. So and so yeah, I guess originally it was like business, and now it's much more like true to who I was then, but now it's true to who I am now. I feel like there was a shift within me that is reflected in the channel.
Another question? It's purple hair. What's your name? Where are you from? And if you had to be a tree, where would you want to be planted?
Is this the only thing you prepared?
I'm a moderator. I can do whatever the F I want.
My name is Teresa. I'm originally
if I was a tree, I would be a...
No, where do you want to be planted?
Where do I want to be
It
planted?
doesn't matter what kind of tree.
I'm sorry.
That was a different question I had.
I
for
wanted to
next.
go in depth. Probably Arizona. My question is that where a lot of you are really open about like sexuality or like your past dating experience, do you ever run into problems with people thinking that you owe them an explanation? So like you post a picture on Instagram with somebody and they're like, oh, so you're dating them. And it's just like constantly being asked about your dating history and like they expect an answer because you share so much of your life with them. And how do you combat that?
He's like, I got this.
No, well, because, so, not really dating, but I had a very public friendship with someone who ended up not being a good person. And I was all over, we were all over each other's social medias.
Retweet.
And all over each other's social medias. And I had no idea that they were not a good person. And then when that came out that they were not a good person, it became all of that person's friends are also not good people. And so there was like a lot of entitlement and expectation on me to explain his actions. Which is, there's layers to that. I understand that I was friends with and so quote unquote, because I'm a business, promoted a person who ended up not being a good person. In that respect, I was like, well, I do owe them an explanation. But also there was like part of me that was like, this is sort of a weird misogynistic thing to be like, well, all the women in his life owe explanations to us, like sort of that way that like it wasn't that guy in Georgia's fault for losing the election. It was Nancy Pelosi's fault, where like somehow a woman is at fault here. I don't know how, but I will do the math and find out how a woman was at fault. And so in that regard, it was tough because it was like I said, when you delete stuff, it draws more attention to it, right? So if you start deleting all the photos with him, then people take that as a statement. Or if you don't delete the photos, they take that as a statement. Or if you do say something, then they attack you. If you don't say something, why haven't you said something? And are you complicit in this? And so you kind of, it made me more careful about who I post with, weirdly, which sounds so sad and weird, but it made me realize that what I put out there is those people that I'm putting out there I'm giving them my seal of approval to a group of people. So I understood the entitlement there afterwards. In the moment I was so upset, but now I realize you're right, you were implicitly saying this is a good person by having them in your videos and in your Instagram and in your life. And if people like you, they will like them, and you have to be careful with who you give that approval to.
Do we want to take another question? Right here. Oh, what's your name? Where are you from? And who have you been most excited to see here at VidCon?
Wow!
Make it or choose. It doesn't have to be any of us.
Oh yeah, don't pick one of us.
Or do you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No. Okay. I'm Katarina. I'm from San Clemente. Shit. I pick multiple people.
No, one.
Are you so beat up?
That's my job as moderator of this panel.
But I was really excited to meet Trevor Moran. That was cool.
Yeah.
Gabby show too. But
That's two. All right, what's your question?
So my question's for the Gabby show. So how did the people that you were friends with before handle this? And did you find people that once you're popular? Sorry, I can't talk. I'm so the people that you're how did they react to it? And the people that they didn't they sort of wanted to be friends with you now to take advantage of that.
Our world is so scary, and there's actually, I wrote a poem about this, pre-order my book, don't tell us that I'll September 19th. I know, but it's called Celebrity, and it's about being a web person, and there's this weird thing about being you for a living. And when you are yourself for a living, who are you and when are you that person? And there's so many times with my vlog spot obviously, and I do not watch my friends' videos. I do not, when I'm around my friends, I do not film with them. That's why my vlogs personally are myself talking about something that happened, because it starts to get really difficult figuring out who's there in your life and who's not. And I found out really quickly who's there and who's not. And if you don't want to film with somebody, or if they ask you to tag them, there's very weird taboos of wanting to I wish I could just post certain people on my Instagram. I have so many friends that are on the internet, but I won't post a picture with them because if they start getting followers from me, then how do I know that they're my friend? And one thing that happened to me that really was bizarre to me was all of my best friends from college. I don't know if I talked about this online before, but when I first started coming up on the internet, all of my like very good friends that I would hang out with like every single week and weekend started blatantly turning on me, and they're troll accounts now. Like if you go to their page to this day, 2017, so many of their top tweets are like making fun of me and like making joke polls about me, and these are my friends that I grew up with. And it's very sad when you see somebody who's just, it's not even that they're not happy for you, it's that they're pissed that you're doing well. So
I had that similar.
yeah, it's very complicated, and it's very sad, and it's bizarrely lonely when you have so many people who care about you sometimes.
We've got time for about 2 more questions. Handkerchief. Is that a handkerchief or an ascot? I don't know, I like it.
Ascot.
Sorry, but it's not weirdly deep. I apologize about the temperature in the room.
No, that's what this panel's about. So what's your name, where are you from, and where'd you get that ascot?
I got, wow, that's so loud. Hi.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's kind of crazy.
Hello.
Hi. So I'm Corbin, I'm from Virginia, and I got this from the Adobe party.
Wow.
So my question kind of popped in my head about not answering online hate, and it's it's not just a comment section, but if a really big, well-known YouTuber makes a hate video about you, especially for a smaller channel, they have a much wider voice. Oh yeah. How do you respond to that? Because if you don't say anything, they're sending so much negativity to your channel, and the bigger voice over the smaller voice just completely watches over you. How do you deal with that?
I made a joke, like PewDiePie made a video making fun of us, but he used a video that we had done for John and Hank's channel rather than one for our channel, and so people were like, you know, being like we're tweeting and Instagramming like, how did you see PewDiePie made it? How did you write? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, how do I respond to this? And I just made a joke being like, oh, if next time you make a video about hating us, please use a video from our channel so we get the traffic. Don't use a video from another channel.
True.
That does no good to us. We don't get the views.
It's like, at me, bro.
Like, please,
just at
please
least
direct
let me
them.
gain
You
from
could
this.
at least link to us. So you
Here's my
just kind of make a joke about it. Gabby.
I might have a little experience in this arena. I will only speak online if I feel that you absolutely have to defend yourself because there are blatant lies. Do you ever see me attacking somebody personally? No. Have you ever seen me come for somebody's looks? No. Have you ever seen me question somebody's character without having some type of factual evidence to back it up? No. I don't get in drama. If somebody's attacking me, I will defend myself in minimal words, and then I will let them do their thing and show their character. And then if you get a lot of dislikes on your video, guess what? I got a lot of money on that video too.
Hey.
So you can send your dislikes, it's fine. And at the end of the day, if I'm losing subscribers because they're taking this weird thing and deciding without actually looking into anything if it's true, they weren't a real fan in the first place. They're probably very young. They're not somebody who's going to watch me by the end of the year anyways because they have the attention span of an 8-year-old, because they're probably an 8-year-old. And you just build a very quality fan base, and the people that were here and saw truth and saw through the weird manipulation tactics, those are people that I want on my channel. And you can gain a lot of fans if you stay classy and you stay honest and you stay true to yourself.
That's a great one to end on.
Remember that lovely sound?
Can we give a big round of applause to our panelists? Also, guys, if you want photos or signatures, people will go to the outside main room. Please don't rush the stage because they've been telling us to make sure we say that. Thank you all so much.